public really needs to know is mainly one, even if they don't look like they're working. A lot of times when I'm walking around with Sprocket, people, they try and stop and ask me questions, or they try and pet him, things like that. Or even if he's laying down right now, it doesn't seem like he's working, but he's actually got himself braced on my foot. So that way, if I start leaning too far forward, he can start shifting his body back and keep me balanced and counterbalanced and everything. The biggest problem we run into really is everyone loves my dog.
Yeah.
And I know, trust me, I've been there myself before I even got Sprocket. I know that they're beautiful. I know they're adorable and you want to pet them. Please ask first. It's huge. I mean, these dogs, he's saved my life more than once already, and I've only been paired with him for a year. He's prevented 4 major falls, one of which I would have had a concussion or worse because my head was hit concrete.
Really?
Yeah, I was going down some stairs, my leg gave, next thing I knew, down and went. He caught me. He actually ran up the stairs back to me and caught me and prevented me from falling.
Wow.
Yeah, and just doing what he needs to do. And
How long have you had him?
We've actually only been paired for about a year and a month.
And in that time, 4 times.
He saved my life already. Just from falls. Just falls alone. That's not even counting depressive episodes and him trying to help me out of bed. Because I do have a lot of mobility issues where some days my leg is just so seized up I can't move, and he actually will keep himself in a position where I can hold myself using him to get up and around. On that same note, he actually positions himself at night. With me moving around so much and shifting so much, I don't fall out of bed anymore and things like that too.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And I'm so thankful for him. I'm so glad to have him that I can't even begin to express it. I was looking at being wheelchair bound in just a matter of years. Now I've got all my mobility, all of my ability back, and yes, I have to use something that's living and breathing to do it. I don't know how I did it before. I really don't.
Well, this is a wonderful thing to use. I mean, it's a companion, it's a conversation starter, it's a help, it's a medical aid.
Yeah, he's just been so amazing. Even at work, he does a swivel, and he's constantly looking around, constantly sniffing around when we're walking and stuff. And by doing that, it saves me from doing it. Because I used to be like this guy here doing wheel mechanics for about 7 years in the Army. And so I'm used to just, every time I turn up or come up to a corner, I look real quick, keep moving on, things like that. Now he's doing it, and I don't even have to think when I walk anymore. And if he sees something or smells something he doesn't like, he stops me immediately and lets me focus on that thing to make sure it's okay to keep going. He's actually, at times, even before I've known it, stopped me from running into people going around corners. I'm no longer walking off walls and bouncing off them when I make turns and stuff, because he's my peripheral. As long as I've got a hold of him, I'm okay. I don't have to think about it anymore.
And this is your first one?
This is my first service dog I've ever.
That's primarily for your wife?
Yeah, it's primarily for my wife. He helps me with my anxiety when I'm out in big events like this, because I don't like crowds. And somebody gets behind me, behind me, he'll stand behind me and block it. Yeah. So he's a good boy. But it costs a lot of money to have a service dog.
Yeah.
It really does. And people don't realize it. We have a lot of fake people out there that want to have a service dog, so they just fake it. I'm sure you've seen it. There is. And it happens, and it interferes with our dogs, and it's very bad. It's a very bad thing. People buy vests online and just say, "Oh, I got a service dog now." There's no such thing. It don't work like that. If you would have to buy a service dog, it would cost you the more they know, the more it costs.
Sure.
It's like a car. The more stuff you have in a car, the more it's going to cost. A service dog could cost almost $80,000. I know the CNI dogs could cost that because they're really, really trained good. And he just does so many. I could train him stuff. I've trained him to shut doors in like 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, he's very smart.
What do you want the public to know about service dogs?
I would like the public to know that not all disabilities are visible. So if you see a service dog and the person doesn't look like they need a service dog, that doesn't mean that they don't need a service dog. Just because you can't see it or the person isn't blind or in a wheelchair does not mean that they don't need the dog to help them live their lives. I'm actually a trainer with an organization. I'm training Biley, and she will hopefully be going to someone who needs her. We train dogs and give them for free through West Virginia University.
Oh, okay.
So she's not mine.
So you're training
Yes.
her for someone?
Yes, I'm
You work with
West Virginia University. It's
dogs, West Virginia dogs, or is it the university itself?
it's the university itself through Hearts of Gold.
Okay.
So I take classes at WVU, and there's a series of service dog classes that we take, and I foster some dogs, and then we train them, and then once they're deemed to be appropriate, we then match them with someone, and they're able to do their tasks and help someone build a better life for themselves. We're doing that, and currently I'm in the WVU concert band, so we are, with the cooperation of the band director, training her to sit next to me while I play to show the public that a service dog can do anything. And you can imagine a service dog being on stage with a musician would so enrich someone's life. And the last service dog that I had, that I was fostering, we went to the Pittsburgh Symphony and Celtic Thunder in Heinz Hall, and she was perfect, and she laid there, and people were surprised that there was even a dog there, which is the best compliment.
Wonderful.
So that's what I do. I train them, and I hope that they understand what people with disabilities need them to be able to do stuff like that, to be able to go to a concert or play in a concert.
Well, that's a service to humanity.
Right.
What you do with these dogs.
Thank you.
They wanted me to ask you guys one thing in particular, and this is going to be, after I ask you that, then you can tell me whatever you want about you and your dog. They wanted me to ask, what do you want the public to know about service dogs? And we're on, so you just talk.
The one thing that's most important is don't touch it, don't pet them. It throws them off of what they're doing. It messes up the owner also. I've had Splash 4 years now. I had him as a puppy, and when they said I needed a service dog, he was the best choice at that point, and he makes things a lot easier. He makes stress a lot easier. He covers my 6 like no one ever has.
Oh, yeah.
That's my baby.
Now, did you get him as a service dog, or did you have him as a puppy and then he was trained as a service
I
dog?
had him as a puppy, and we've trained him since, and still training him.
Really? Now, did you do it yourself, or did someone help you? Or?
I've had Anastasia help me, and West Virginia University helped me. So he's getting there. He still has his little episodes and loses his mind.
He's still human like the rest of us.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he seems like a happy boy.
That's my baby.
What do you want people to know about service dogs?
I think the main thing that I would like people to know about service dogs is that just because the handler doesn't look like they have a disability or that they require the need or assistance of a service dog doesn't mean that you have any right to go up and ask questions or that they are not any more legitimate as another service dog team.
Okay. And how long have you had this gorgeous thing?
I have had Nico since he was 10 weeks old, and he is now 13 months, and he goes to high school with me every day.
Oh, and another, I talked to another girl here who has a service dog that's in high school. Do you have anybody else in your high school that has a service dog, or are you the only one?
I am actually the only one in my family that has a service dog, although I'm sure my mother could use one as well. I've trained Nico all by myself.
Have you?
Yeah, and we hope to continue and go on to college next year.
Wonderful. He's pretty, and he's smart, and he's quiet for a Doberman, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very good boy.
before I've heard.
So, are you able to tell us some of the things he does for you?
He's actually doing a task right now where he's doing deep pressure therapy, where he finds some pressure points in my legs and he puts some pressure on them.
Really?
And it helps to calm me down and like keep me focused on the here and now.
Wow, wonderful. Anything else, Paul? Well, have a nice time tonight. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for letting me come.
I'm delighted.
I've had her since 7th grade. I get a lot of, oh, I wish I could bring my dog, or something like that. You don't want to bring your dog, because that means you're disabled, and you have to put over 10,000 hours and over like a lot of money. So
To get the dog or to?
for just training,
Okay.
it's a lot more than just meets the eye. You may see, let's say, a dog that gets sick. That doesn't mean it's not a service dog. That doesn't mean it's a puppy. Sometimes they have bad days. Sometimes they get scared. But that doesn't mean they're not trained.
I see.
My service dog is actually Greyhound mix, so her tail's always tucked.
Okay.
And so everybody thinks that she's scared or timid or not trained properly because of the tail tuck. But that's just part of her breed.
What do you want the public to know about service dog?
So, one of the big things I would have to say is the issue that we as a community are facing about people faking service animals. I know Sailor here, she has had run-ins with a couple, but of course with her personality, she'd rather go up and lick the dog in the face than avoid them.
Is that the problem if somebody's not really using it as a service animal, it's not trained to interact with other service animals? Is that the problem?
There are some that, I've seen some that, I know aren't the least bit trained to be a service animal. But in her case, there was one that was really friendly, which I, of course, educated that owner on. And then she's had a run-in with one that just about bit her. So there's all kinds. And then, of course, with as many groups as I'm in, just on Facebook alone, I've heard all kinds of other stories.
And is the problem mostly the dogs interacting with one another? Is that the problem?
From what I gather all around, and just with her couple experiences, for her, it's a major distraction. But another dog is a little bit harder, especially when they're trying to get to her.
Yeah.
Which, in our case with other service teams, they haven't really come to her, which has helped out a lot.
Yeah. If everybody's on the same page of keeping their dog with themselves, then when you come together, there's fewer problems.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Come here.
What'd she do? Somebody's treat problem.
Yep, probably.
Come here, got fix your bow. Hey, you can come here. Hey. It's my treat. Wait.
I think they're fresh
Yeah.
treats. I think
Yeah, somebody
girl right before you had some treats in the bag.
Sit.
I think she dropped a few.
Girl. Sit. Sit down, sit. Stay.
Okay, what they asked me to do was to ask you all first, what do you want the public to know about therapy dogs? And after that, just talk whatever you want to tell.
Therapy dogs?
I'm sorry, service dogs.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I was about to say, they're two different ones.
It sure is.
Well, I wish that the public would know about service dogs and how they're not just regular dogs. Like, these dogs are having tasks that they need to perform, and also to not question these tasks. Like Jessie is a hearing dog. So when someone says my name, she looks and pulls me to that person. And then when someone says excuse me, she would nudge me on my leg and tell me yo, you need to get out of the way. And but also she does things at home for me too. let me know my oven, my microwave, my laundry stuff. So like she is my hip. And like I wish people would respect her as giving her a little bit of space to let her be my hip.
That's very good, because she is for you, she's not for everybody else.
Yeah, I know she's the medical equipment. She's kind of like a wheelchair that.
She really is, that's what I thought when I was talking with someone else earlier.
Yeah, I mean, she is a medical equipment. She's alive and furry and apparently cute.
So mainly what I'd like the public to know is that service dogs really cover a wide variety of disabilities, from seizures to asthma to anxiety disorders. They're incredibly important to their owner, and just that service dogs come in as many different shapes and sizes as their owner. So little service dogs like Faye are just as valid as large service dogs like a Mastiff, but they all have a very special purpose and they're very necessary for the people that they help.
Now, is this your service dog?
Yes, she is mine.
Do you care to share how she helps you? Or?
Sure. So Faye is my, she's considered a medical alert and a psychiatric dog. So I have an anxiety disorder. So if I start getting anxious, I have tells like I'm tapping my foot or fiddling with my hands. And so Faye's main task is to interrupt those behaviors, let me know that I'm acting anxious, and to calm down and just take a second to breathe. So that's right now. She also does medication reminders, just reminds me what time I'm supposed to take it, which was a long process to learn. But yeah. So she's only 7 months old. It takes about 2 years to fully train a service dog, sometimes longer depending on the dog and the person. But so she has a long way to go, but she's doing great so far.
There's.
I'm going to do a lot more. I need more. We will see you guys at 6. Hi,